thank you so much for coming this morning. I really appreciate it. We are in Bidadari, Potong Pasir, and this is now one of the youngest constituencies in the entire Singapore. There are so many families which we have visited in Bidadari and Alkaf who are 45 years and below. And it is joyful, it is very heartening when we see these young families with their little toddler kids, many of whom are only 2-3 years old, many of whom are only a few months old. That is why I have chosen this location today to make this statement. And it is an important statement coming from the People's Alliance for Reform for the upcoming general election. At 9 a.m. this morning, I posted on Facebook a statement explaining that if elected into Parliament, PA is going to pursue transformative policies that will uplift our dismal total fertility rate of 0.97. Now, we cannot carry on with such a disastrous TFR. If we do not reverse, we will face eventual extinction. But the TFR has been plummeting for decades, despite PAP's policies of giving baby bonuses and other incremental measures. They have been to no avail. And what is the reason? The reason is not difficult to fathom. The reason is that under their reckless past and present policies, Singapore has become the most expensive country in the world when we do not have first world wages. Wages have been stagnant for many professions and workers in Singapore. And in our encounters and conversations with young Singaporeans, it comes up and up again that the main impediment to them starting or raising a family is the horrendous cost of living pressures they are facing. So, in part, we acknowledge this problem, and we are not going to tiptoe around the issue. We are not going to give lip service. We are going to cut the Gordian knot and solve the problem. And how do we do that? We do that by massively alleviating the cost of living pressures on young parents to bring up a child. And we propose to do this through 3 measures. First of all, we want free education for every Singaporean child, from pre-nursery up to childcare, up to polytechnic, up to university. Education costs and the fear of not being able to provide well for their children is the main reason we have come across from parents as to why they are reluctant to start families. We must solve this problem. And I have no time for those people who say that, oh, you are giving free things, you are going to raid the reserves. That is a fallacious, tired argument which has no place in modern Singapore. We will show to the people of Singapore in our contract with Singapore for the upcoming general election our detailed costing for free education for every Singaporean child. We are going to treat that Singaporean child as a national treasure. And if we want to do that, it is upon us to nurture that child to the best of his or her potential. Secondly, we are going to pursue a policy of providing free school meals for children in schools. And this is going to be regardless of your parental or family income. We are not going to have the stigma of having some children being given coupons to line up at the canteen for food, whilst others do not qualify because they come from families with higher income. We do not want that division. We do not want any stigma involved. But we find that many families struggle, especially in these times of high cost of living, to provide balanced, nutritious meals for their children, which has a great impact on their concentration and learning. And this is a cost-effective investment which goes a long way towards the future productivity of that child and the future prosperity of our nation. And finally, we are going to pursue a policy where every child in Singapore from birth will enjoy free healthcare. In fact, PA believes that free healthcare must be made available to every Singaporean regardless of age. And it is a crying shame that despite having to pay so much into MediSave, Singaporeans are still having to come up with horrendous cash components many times when they go to the hospital or require other medical treatments. So, my friends, we believe that these policies will transform lives in Singapore. These policies will encourage our young parents to have more children. We reject the PAP's policy of ever-increasing net migration because we do not see that as the solution to our declining fertility. Despite decades of importing masses of immigrants, our TFR keeps going down. It is not increasing. You would think that if you import immigrants, they should help you with your TFR. But the trend is in the reverse. We are not going to stand for that anymore. We want to build a society that is not fractured. We do not want a society where on one hand, our indigenous-born Singaporeans, the males, have to do national service, and the new citizens, if you are age 30 and above, do not. Now that is division, that is distinction, that is discrimination against the locally born Singaporeans, which we will not stand for. Thank you very much.